Hi, if you're watching this, this is for runners who have stubborn fat that sits around their waist and hips, and I'm going to tell you exactly how you can combat this. And I'm here to tell you the brutal truth. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. If you've been told that you can do X, Y, Z to lose specifically the exact amount of fat that you want around your waist and hips, you are mistaken and you've been told a lie. So why do runners look lean everywhere except the stomach? A big sign of this, partially is genetic, but secondly, the one thing that we can control is metabolic rate. So ultimately, if you're carrying a lot of fat around your midsection, it's a sign that your metabolism is slowing down and now your body's holding on to fat around the stomach. And the classic runner fat loss cycle, I want to take you through so you can actually understand sort of where you are in this and if you are continuously going around. First step, a lot of runners do is that they will remove calories, remove carbs to put themselves into what they think is a deficit. I'll get to that in a minute. Second of all, they then run more miles. So they eat less and they run more. Third of all, when they don't see the results they want, they increase the deficit. They decrease the amount they're eating even more. Technically, eating less and running more increases the deficit anyway. So if you're doing that, your deficit will become larger and larger and larger, which leads to your recovery taking a hit. The likelihood of getting injured actually increases, which then moves on to you having more fatigue day to day. So your energy is getting drained, your ability to perform at the highest level possible decreases. You don't see any results. All you're seeing and feeling is just tiredness, fatigue, having poor night's sleeps. Then you start to realize that instead of actually losing fat, you're gaining fat. You're starting to feel more puffy and inflamed in the body. And this is because the original approach here at 1 and 2 is completely incorrect and it's more suited towards the average person who doesn't run. You've probably got that from just everywhere online saying just going a calorie deficit, so eating less, when in reality, if you're doing running anyway, and you're eating normally, you'll probably be in a deficit and probably a big deficit. So the only solution to taking you out of this isn't to do this, which is cut more. And that's what you're probably doing, is just continuously cutting more calories till you realize this isn't the solution. And it's probably why you're watching this video. You have to take yourself out of the deficit. And just being a calorie deficit, it's the generic advice that is causing you to be in this position. A true deficit will actually mean that you will lose fat. But in reality, if you've been in a deficit for a long period of time and you're not losing fat, is that the answer? No. In order to lose fat, your body has to be in a healthy position metabolically, because that's what will drive the rate that you can lose fat. So if you're in an unstable position and you increase the amount of stress on this unstable position, your body's just going to go deeper and deeper and deeper into a hole. And to get out of that hole, we have to take ourselves out of the deficit. Because can we dig ourselves a bigger hole through going into that deficit even more, adding more stress on our body, which isn't actually being able to be recovered from because there's so much now inflammation and no fuel to go in to help recover? No. So you have to take yourself out of the deficit. That's the first solution. In what I do and what I preach to all my clients, to all my runners, you have to take yourself out of the current situation that you're in. And when the deficit becomes too aggressive, just from what we've discussed, is that your running will take a hit, you'll gain fat, and the ability for you to recover will just decrease. And more running isn't ever the answer, by the way. You can only increase your running when your back end system, aka nutritional system, is aligning with that. Because in order to recover from more running, your body needs to have nutrition and it needs to actually understand the right amount and how much of and what to eat in order to recover so that you can increase without any of the risks. What are the risks? Injury. And what is the other risk? Decrease in metabolism. That's why you start to feel puffy. And just mentioning stop digging a deeper hole, this is the rebuild phase that I take my runners through. And essentially how you can do this is find out your maintenance. Once you found out your maintenance, that's how much you need to eat on your rest days. And then once you know that, you then can branch away from that and find out how much you need to eat on your running days. Example, if you run for an hour, you might burn 600 calories. It depends, typically, depending on obviously age, gender, all these other metrics. But just say your maintenance is 1500, where you do nothing. 1500 plus 600, that's then your maintenance for that day, which is 2100 calories. But obviously, there's going to be give or take. That it might be higher, it might be lower, because you also have to add into the fact that you might be doing steps outside of that run. Say you do 10k steps, that's 400 calories. So then your maintenance for that day is 2500 calories. If you go to the gym, there's more. So it's actually building a system in place and understanding your numbers. This is what I do for all my clients. And if you're someone that doesn't have the time to do this, you should probably reach out to me and DM me the word system, and I'll explain to you exactly how these 3 steps work in terms of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And this is for the people that just genuinely want a done for you service and who don't want to go through the trial and error approach, and you don't want to risk implementing what I'm telling you without knowing sort of when to make the changes. Because yes, this is phase 1, but you then need to know exactly sort of what data points to look out for. Because throughout phase 1, you should start to see an increase in energy. You want to start to see a decrease in measurements from that inflammation being reduced. So all of these key markers will tell you if you're being successful in phase 1. Obviously, in the first week, if you're not, things need to change. And it's the same in life. If something's not working, you fix it. If something's working, you don't fix it. So you need to be able to spot the trends and know when to actually change your situation in order to keep you going in that linear direction. But back to it, you need to genuinely make sure that on all of your different running days and on your gym day and on your rest day, you're eating at around your maintenance calories in all of those days. This will take you out of that deficit and it'll give your body a chance to actually heal. That inflammation will start to reduce, which is why you'll start to see inches come off your waist and hips, because that puffiness will no longer be prevalent. Just look on my page. I've got a load of testimonials of my clients saying first thing they see is they will start to become more toned, the inflammation will start to decrease, and they start to feel lighter on their feet. This is what happens in just a month with me, because you are starting to appreciate and learn how to fuel your body, because this is going to be your biggest gateway to success. And runners often look different before major fat loss even happens. And this is because ultimately, if you're reducing water, that's going to change the way you look. If your digestion improves, that's going to be great. You're going to also be less puffy, better recovery in between sessions. You're going to look more full, less exhausted appearance. So in your face, you're going to look more alive. You're going to have more energy. People are going to notice that your presence is back, and you're going to have more muscular fullness, which also sort of relays onto this one as well. And then phase 2, this is where you then can go in a deficit, but because you now know your numbers from phase 1 and you know what works, being in a small deficit is really easy. And being in a small deficit is the only way to see long-term results, because what happens when you're in a big deficit, we already know the answer to that, because that's what you're already going through. You're already under fueling, you're already in a big deficit. So that's why you're already going through that cycle loop that I just showed you. So your old approach, being in a 35 to 50 to 70% deficit, incorrect. We now go to a 10 to 20% deficit, and we look at our data every week to make sure that we are seeing linear results in body measurements and performance metrics, because obviously we're runners, we want to make sure we're performing well still, and that's not taking a hit. So what I help my runners do is balance the two together, and you see how it now is all clicking and aligning. But for yourself, you can do this alone if you've got the time, the resources, and the energy. You can make sure that you're going into a small deficit after you've done that rebuild phase. So this is what I'm trying to show you exactly what the process looks like that you need to go through. And this is losing the body fat in this second phase. And you'll stay in this phase until you've achieved the results that you want. The dream goal of being that lean runner, confident runner, this is what you will achieve through doing this. This is exactly what you will get. So I need you to put every single ounce of attention into this video right now, because I'm showing you the exact steps that you need in order to achieve the result you want. Stop looking on it, the Instagram, YouTube, TikTok for small fluff, because fluff doesn't get results. Execution and conviction does, and certainty. And if you can gain confidence from what I do, and if you look through my page at all of the testimonials, hundreds and hundreds, that's when you'll realize that this is what you need to do. And that's me then doing my job, because you'll get results. And we don't start after running days, just mentioning that systematized approach. On an easy day, green, this is not as many calories. You might be eating 1500. Tuesday, higher fuel, because you're doing a 90-minute long run. So you need to eat 900 calories more on this day in comparison to your rest day. so on and so forth with all of your other days. We might, if we're in the second phase, we might have a potential deficit on this rest day here and here. That means across the week, we're in a 20% deficit, we're going to lose fat. But on these sessions, you're going to have quality sessions because you're recovering quality. I mean, your nutrition's quality. And this is where the actual body fat comes off. Why? Because your metabolism stays healthy throughout the process. And the most important thing through doing this means that you will keep these results long term. Great example is my client Stephen. He finished with me 24th of May, so 3 months ago to today. Was it the 24th? 3 months today he finished with me, and I just recently got in contact with him last week. He actually messaged me. He's the exact same measurements and the exact same body weight as he was when he finished with me on the 24th of May. So that's 3 months he's been alone. Because he's done the 3 steps with me, I haven't showed you the third step yet, but that's all about sustainability. And the only way to maintain these results is to improve your metabolic health. And the way to do that is through my phase 1, and then you learn exactly how to sustain that in phase 3. But you want to get the results in phase 2 ultimately. You don't want to just stay at phase 1 and then have nowhere to go. So the best thing that you can do is sustain. Getting lean is only half the job, obviously, because I think it's 92 to 94% of people in general that lose fat regain it in 2 years. My job as a coach is to keep you accountable and show you that there is a way that you can sustain these results long term and that you don't become a statistic. How we do this is once you hit that calorie deficit point and you've finished and you've achieved the results you want, you can see here it's a gradual exit back to your new maintenance. Then once you know your new maintenance, you can stop counting calories, you can stop eating on a meal plan, and then you can start to use the knowledge that you've learned, and it's like muscle memory, and you sort of then know exactly what to eat and your differences on all your different days, and then you can maintain the result that you've achieved throughout phase 2 and phase 1. So it's just a gradual exit out of that small deficit up to maintenance, and then once you're at maintenance, you know exactly how much you need to eat. You do that for a couple of weeks, then you exit away from tracking things, and then you can live the rest of your life lean as hell, running faster, and having achieved your biggest bottleneck. Overcome your biggest bottleneck. And to become a lean, well-fueled runner who can actually stay here, you have to go through all of these steps here. You have to be able to train efficiently, eat normally, and this is after you've been with me. Eat normally, eat freely, race well, recover well, enjoy life, and then you'll stay lean. If some of these are not going well, then your habits drop, and then that's when nutrition takes a hit. Because if your training's going poorly, your nutrition will probably go poorly. If you're recovering poor, why is that? Because your nutrition's poor. If you're not enjoying life, what do? You binge on food. So it's like always going back to nutrition. And your lower belly isn't the problem, it's just your strategy. So I hope that you took from this that your biggest bottleneck isn't the fact that you've got lower body fat, it's the actual approach that you're taking to exit this and try and get yourself to the dream goal of being 5, 10, 15% leaner. And ultimately the approach that you're doing, eating less, whatever it is, diets, asking your friend Sally, doing more research, that isn't getting you the result. You wouldn't be this far into the video. To take an approach that's been proven. I wouldn't show you this if it hadn't. I've helped over 450 runners now, one-to-one myself. So I know what works. I'm trying to outlay that out to as many runners as possible because I want to have the biggest impact in the running community. So tell everyone that you know that's a runner that's struggling with this, that there is a solution to this, link them this video, and that's going to save more running careers. Want me to show you how it exactly works to you? DM me the word rebuild on Instagram. If you DM me rebuild specifically, I'll give you a bonus tip as well that I haven't actually shared today, because if you've got this far in the video, it shows that you're committed to your goal, and I want to give back to people that are committed to their goal. And also, if you found this helpful, drop a like on this YouTube video, drop me a subscribe whilst you're at it as well, and put in the comment section your biggest takeaway from all of this.